When Olufemi arrived in South Africa nearly a decade ago, he thought his aspirations had finally materialized. His dream was to make it big in the music industry. A few days after touching down in Johannesburg, however, this Nigerian citizen found himself sleeping on the floor at an old church with no friends and no money. But as they say, nothing beats perseverance, patience, and most importantly, determination.
Long time ago, long time ago, long time ago, long time ago.
He's fast emerging as a fresh voice of Afrobeat.
I'm more focused on the traditional music from Africa. I'm doing a fusion of the Batanga, the Maskande, South African music, mixed with my high life from Nigeria, the West, Afrobeat. So there's a particular cultural mesh that's going on in there.
Olufemi is tipped to become one of Africa's greats, in the same league as stars like Fela Kuti, Salif Keita and Hugh Masekela.
He's a versatile musician. He can play a soulful number, he can play a township jive sound, and then you'll think it's a Soweto musician playing here.
Olufemi began his music career back in Nigeria in the late 1990s. Several years later, he felt it was time to search for greener pastures.
I was practicing in my room, and a friend of mine came and said, "Look, this is a good news. There's a particular church in South Africa who needs they need an instrumentalist, and they need like a choir director. If you can do that." I said, "Man, that would be lovely."
The offer was irresistible, and Olufemi didn't think twice about leaving his home country.
I was told in the first 6 months, they will pay me salaries every month, and they'll pay my house rent.
After sorting out the paperwork, it was time to wave his homeland goodbye. He touched down in Johannesburg in the winter of 2005 and met his hosts. Their enthusiastic welcome didn't last long.
Towards the end of the day, they broke the news like, "Look, we've got a problem, and the church is having a problem. We've just moved from a bigger venue to a smaller venue, so we won't be able to pay you what we promised, it's like the salaries and the rent."
Confused and desperate, Olufemi had to think fast.
I thought about going back home first. And the question is, what do I say to those who have celebrated me that, "Oh, Olufemi is going to South Africa to work for 6 months." And for me to call them and say, "Guys, I'm coming back home," or they should see me with bags of empty stories. It wasn't going to be that nice.
Although he didn't know anyone in South Africa, he chose to stay. But the little money he brought from Nigeria was drying up fast. Fortunately, a passerby saw Olufemi with bags on the streets of Yeoville and referred him to a nearby church where he was helped. For For the next 6 months, the church would be his new home. The deal was that he'd clean the building in exchange for a safe place to stay. This arrangement bought him enough time to go out and look for a job. 3 months later, he found one at a popular nightclub.
And I remember Shivava was paying me in 50 rands, on a Thursday when I come for the jam session. Although other musicians will come, but they decided to have me as part of the in-house band.
Even though the pay was low, the job gave him the opportunity to meet other musicians. The following year, he moved to a better paying restaurant. A determined Olufemi slowly networked his way into the music business and forged relationships with influential people in the industry.
I heard what I only heard in America from American musicians, and I said, how can this be? And he was blowing his saxophone, and every time I could think, this sounds like Dave Cosman.
Now well on his way to becoming a household name, performing regularly at major concerts across the country. Olufemi's CV is colorful. He's shared the stage with the best at the Miss World Beauty Pageant, Africa Day concert, and the famous Joy of Jazz.
People will talk. There'll be criticism, left and right. Just have that one straight goal, focus on it.
Olufemi recently took part in a movie that features well-known South African stars like Yvonne Chaka Chaka and Leleti Khumalo. It should be out soon.